Howdy, my name's Ann McCarthy. I'm a developer relations wrangler at Automatic, and this is a video about exploring the various ways you can curate your WordPress experience using tools like blocking APIs and theme.json. You might want to skip around depending on your interest and background knowledge. At a high level, though, I'll start with going over why someone might want to do this, what the various options are to handle this work, some demos, and some closing thoughts on where this work is headed, so you have something to look forward to. So why would you want to limit aspects of the WordPress interface? For those who want all the options in the world, this might seem like a strange thing to do. How would I want to be able to do less? If you work for an agency or a solo site builder, asking this question will seem so obvious though. Either way, I want to address it for anyone who might be curious, especially since the beauty of WordPress is that it's adaptable to so many people's needs. At a high level, there are times when limiting aspects of all the wonderful things WordPress can do can actually help make it easier for folks to build or manage the site they want. Here are just a few reasons why someone might pursue these options and why you might want to consider doing so yourself. It helps prevent mistakes. It helps preserve design or implementation decisions like color branding. It helps make the experience more manageable by having less options to do certain things. If this doesn't resonate at all, this video might not be for you. Happy tinkering with all the options though. So what built-in tools are available to do this? While there are, of course, plugins you can explore too that extend the WordPress capabilities, this video is not going to dive into those. Right now, it's going to focus on what is built into WordPress core and the various ways that you can accomplish curating the interface using the tools available. So at a high level, there are three different tools that this video is going to go over. The first is template locking API. So this is an API that allows you to lock templates to prevent blocks from being manipulated in various ways. Using this API, you can choose between the option to lock everything down from inserting, deleting, and more, to just preventing inserting, but allowing moving and removing blocks. The second option is the block level API. So this is a new API with WordPress 5.9 that allows you to lock various aspects at the block level, like the ability to move or delete a block. Finally, there's theme.json. This is a new mechanism that allows you to have granular control over style options and settings, including things like what default colors appear for users, or what specific controls blocks have available, like the ability to add custom font sizes. Keep in mind that these tools can be combined in some pretty interesting ways too, rather than just used in isolation. In the description of this video, I'll link to information about each of these so you can dig in to learn more, along with a post I did highlighting the same demos you'll see here. For now, let's look at a few examples just to get a sense of what's possible, but keep in mind that this just scratches the surface. All right, let's jump into our first demo. And for this demo, you're going to see a locked template and a custom post type that has a related post section. And this section is powered by a query loop block that doesn't allow users to remove the post title and featured image blocks. And within the entire template too, only a few blocks can be moved around within the query loop block to allow for customization while also ensuring someone doesn't delete the important pieces, in particular, the content of the post and key parts of the query loop block. The outcome is a really cool customized post section that enables users to highlight what they want at the bottom of their post, whether it's their latest post or post from a specific category or more. So let's dive in now that the scene is set. If you want to learn more about how this is done, as a reminder, there is a post that I linked to below that actually has the code and everything you might want on that post itself. So here we go. I open up a locked post from the custom post type and scroll through and you'll see this is the featured image. It does not have the option to remove it, and I can easily add in a featured image for this post. There you have it there. I'll scroll down, and this actually shows the related post section that I mentioned. And you can see I can relight to center. I cannot delete it. And it's just part of the locking that's in place, but I can customize the experience, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to customize some options here within the query loop block. So maybe I'll add 4, just to have 4 different items being shown there. Scroll further down, let's remove this. You can see I actually have the option to remove it. So you can see this is how the template locking and the block level locking have options. So I cannot remove the featured image, but I can then add in some neat duotone, change the height a little bit, looking good. Maybe I want to center this, perfect. So now you can see I have my own customized related post section pulled from various options that are locked down without limiting my actual creativity though. So I can actually make this exactly how I want it to look. Someone else could come in here and have a different setup, but it allows for some customization within a set of boundaries and combines both the template locking and block level locking in a really neat way. Now let's look at an example of block level locking within a pattern. So as you can imagine with certain patterns, you're sometimes going to want to have key elements that you don't want moved or removed since it might break the integrity of the design. This demo is going to show how you can maintain the integrity of a pattern with specific blocks locked, in this case, the header and button blocks. This uses the block locking API as well. Hopefully, you'll also see how just because this experience is locked in a few ways, it doesn't hamper the ability to make the pattern your own. Of course, you could always take this further with other locking measures, but in this case, I wanted to show off a way that blocks certain things down while also allowing for creativity to flourish. All right, so let's open up the inserter, add my custom pattern under buttons. We'll just pop it in right here. Now let's go through the various ways I've locked this. So let's check out the header first. There's no way to actually move this around. Meanwhile, the button does offer a way to move it up and down, so we'll move it down for now. Then you'll notice for the paragraph that there's also no way to move it around, but that I can actually delete it. So I can remove this entirely. And for the header, I actually cannot remove this. So you'll see this is how it locks in the design. So for now, let's remove the paragraph since I just want to get this out of the way. Maybe I want to change it. Now these two key elements are still here. I can then go in and customize the buttons block to my liking. So in this case, I'll make the font size a little bit different. I'll add in book your next adventure now. And we'll just add in a different background image to this cover block. So all of these are allowed within the pattern, which is pretty cool. So I can scroll down. Maybe I'll up the opacity a little bit. That looks pretty cool. Make this my own a little bit more. Change the color. Boom, looking a lot better. Let's go back, make this filled in. Nice. Now I've made the pattern my own. Finally, let's dig into an example of block settings being controlled by theme.json. This can be used to allow users to make some choices without getting overwhelmed or getting too far away from the overall design of a site. To set the stage in this demo, you're going to see an example where both the options to customize are removed and some presets remain. So specifically, the post title block and post date block don't have options for custom font sizes, line height, font weight, and colors. They both do still provide a few default options for font sizes and the ability to edit blocks in other ways, like alignment. Color options are also pared down to offer a few simple options in Duotone, with the option to set custom colors also removed. Hopefully you'll see how this creates a pretty intuitive user experience while also still allowing for some guardrails. All right, so this is just a query loop block that you might have used before. You'll notice that you can move options up and down. Some of the block locking is in place, but instead different default options are removed. So you can change the alignment for the post title block, but if you actually open up the settings for the block itself, you'll notice some things are turned off. So things like custom font sizes aren't available, but you can change things like the letter casing. So we can make this all lowercase, kind of like how that looks. You can also choose from the presets. In this case, I'll actually make this smaller, kind of like that. Let's see what the bigger option looks like. Oh, it's a little too big. We'll go back to small. So some options are turned off, but you can also still customize things. So the same is true with Duotone with the featured image. So open that up, you'll see two different options. Select that one. Then if I go a step further, I can actually select from another set of presets, different options that I provided. So we'll choose a light purple, but there's not an ability to add a custom color. And finally, the same thing is true with the post date block. So again, you can open up the settings and you'll see that you can change the alignment in the block toolbar. And then there's also certain options turned off. So things like the sizes, again, there's not a custom font size, but you can make it a little bit smaller. So as you can see, this is all powered by theme.json and really shows how you can curate the experience without actually losing out on optionality and keeping things in alignment with certain things like custom branding that you might have for font sizes and colors. So now that you've seen some examples, let's talk about what's to come, because there's so much to build upon with this work, especially for phase 3 of the current roadmap, which is collaborative editing. So as you can imagine, anything related to permissions and locking will really come out to play in collaborative editing when you have, let's say, multiple editors working on a homepage. So right now, this work is headed in a few different directions, and there's probably more than what I'm just describing here, but here's just a high-level overview. So to start, there's going to be a UI, a user interface for locking, including showing what's locked in tools like list view and in the block toolbars. So you can see this image on this slide actually shows some of what the early designs look like. I imagine this will evolve over time. Alongside this, you can expect to see locking tied to user roles. So for example, an admin can lock things for lower permission users like an editor. And finally, more options for what can be turned on and off, especially in theme.json, but also more granular control in the different APIs that we went over. So check the description below for a key GitHub issue that discusses some of what's to come. For a tangible example, though, imagine you're a developer who wants to give a client the option to edit their header with a few things locked down, like ensuring the site title block stays a certain size and the colors can be chosen to match the branding for the site design. Your client has admin access and digs in, making changes based on the options available. And then when done, they pass the homepage for review to someone with edit access, perhaps a marketer on their team or designer, so that they can then make changes to just the content of the homepage. So hopefully this example helps give you a sense of how all these things can work together and how in the future it can evolve even further. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay connected to me, I'm at @AnZazu in WordPress Slack, or you can find me at nomad.blog. I have a contact form there and I look forward to hearing from you. I hope this helped you have more ideas about how you can curate your WordPress experience and help curate those you're working with. If you've tried out some of these features and want to share, I welcome them in the comments below.